The Muppet Show started in Hi guys! Today I want to tell you about the wonderful world of Muppets lost media. So you guys might know that the Muppet Show started airing in 1976. Although we have all of the episodes of the show, a lot of the stuff around it is lost media or partially lost media. Actually, the first thing I want to talk about started before the Muppet Show, and that's Sam and Friends.
Sam and Friends!
Sam and Friends is actually where Kermit the Frog came from.
Hi-ho!
A lot of people, I think he started on Sesame Street, but he actually came from Sam and Friends, which is partially lost media now. Let me pull up my page on Sam and Friends. Sam and Friends started in 1955, before the Muppet Show even started, and it was where Jim Henson got his start in television puppetry. It wasn't actually about Kermit the Frog, he was just a character on it. It was about a puppet named Sam, and Sam is kind of gone now. He's not part of the Muppets repertoire anymore, but he was actually the main character, and it centered around Sam and a bunch of his puppet friends, including an early version of Kermit the Frog.
Hi-ho!
This actually aired in and around the Washington, D.C. area. A lot of it didn't end up getting saved because of the way it was filmed. So we know there were more than 40 episodes, but we don't know where most of them are now. Some of them we only know exist because people remember seeing them, and some of them we do still have footage of. The way the show worked was it was actually mostly puppet lip syncing. There wasn't a lot of what we would think of with the Muppets now, of the Muppets talking and interacting with humans. It was actually mostly puppets lip syncing to different vocal tracks, and it's where Jim Henson kind of started his,
crazy Muppet destruction.
So a lot of the songs would end up end with things on fire or heavy objects getting dropped down and stuff like that. But the thing is, it was so influential, and now we don't have most of it anymore. So if you guys want to watch it, there is actually some episodes that are still floating around, and the place that I would recommend to try and find them is the Lost Media Wiki. Which I love so much because there is so much cool stuff on there. That has links to the 8-ish episodes that we still have record of. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually way more recent, and that's Tinseltown. So Tinseltown I actually found out about because I was cruising around the Lost Media Wiki, and this is actually kind of interesting because it wasn't considered lost, and then one day it just disappeared off of the internet. It was technically a Muppets project, but for grown-ups, and it was about this gay couple that were a bull and a pig, I think. Was that what they were? What were they? Yeah, they're a bull and a pig. One of them is an actor and one of them is a producer, and so the Jim Henson Company made it for Logo TV, and it aired a couple of times. It was a pilot, they didn't pick up the series, but it was actually on the Logo TV website for a long time, so nobody thought of it as lost media. But then they took it down, and nobody had ever thought to save it because it wasn't lost media, and now it's lost media and we can't find it anywhere. And we know the whole plot, and there are pages detailing the exact plot and what happened when, but we can't watch it anymore, and I think that's so cool, and I want to watch it so bad. So if anyone has any recordings of Tinseltown, please tell me, because I think it sounds so cool, and I wish I was able to watch it when it was up on the Logo website. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is right in the middle there. It's actually also pre-Muppet Show, and that is the Wilkins and Wontkins commercials. And I thought this would be really fun to talk about because it blew up on Twitter recently. Ooh, my bow tie. People rediscovered these commercials and were talking about them. And what I think a lot of people didn't know was that we actually don't have a lot of the original commercials anymore. There were a handful that were getting shared on Twitter, but there are actually so many more that just don't exist anymore. So Wilkins and Wontkins were these two puppet characters. They're very cute. They're anthropomorphic blobs, I guess. And they were originally promoting Wilkins coffee. That's where the name comes from, Wilkins and Wontkins. And they were very in that same style of
Muppet violence.
Where Wontkins wouldn't want to drink Wilkins coffee, and Wilkins would
do violence to him.
Which I think is why they were so like surreal and funny. I think that's why they kind of blew up on Twitter again, because like they're still really funny now. They actually did promote more than Wilkins coffee. They promoted other coffees and other beverages. Yeah, if you look at that, we actually don't have a lot of the commercials for the other stuff they sold either. And the couple things we do have like totally is Frank's Beverages, Tasty's Bread, and Dugan's Bread, which is, I do think it's funny that they eventually went from coffee to beverages to bread. I guess they were running out of things for these puppets to promote. And there's also, I think this is interesting, National City Bank that they apparently did commercials for with Wilkins and Wontkins that is just totally lost media, so we don't know where to find those. The reason we still have some of these is because they're like significant puppetry. We still have records of them in museums and stuff, but a lot of it is just kind of gone now because they weren't really saving these commercials, because it was just like, you know, a commercial job. Somebody on YouTube uploaded just like a bunch of them, and I think that's partially what kind of kicked off that Twitter craze. So they are on YouTube if you're interested in like watching them. They are really funny still. Like, there's a reason they got popular again in 2021, and it's that they're still really good.
Okay, buddy, what do you think of Wilkins coffee?
I never tasted it.
Now, what do you think of Wilkins?
Alright guys, so that's 3 pieces of Muppets lost media that I think is super cool. If you guys have any more information about these, feel free to tell me, say it down in the comments below, reach out to the Lost Media Wiki, I'm sure they're super interested. And if anyone has a copy of Tinseltown, please get in contact with me because I want to watch it so bad. That's it for now. See you guys next time. Bye!
Crazy Muppet destruction.